Hi, I'm Connie Jian. Today I want to show you some simple exercises that you can do every day to address your low back. If you've got hip issues or if you've got pelvic floor issues, this is going to be a good place for you to start. Okay? So first we're going to start with the functional movement. So if you have poor balance, you'd be surprised doing this exercise that you might actually find out that you have poor balance. You're going to be standing nice and tall. Oftentimes we have accentuated lordosis or lumbar curvature. So I want you to practice pulling the tail down nice and tall. And as you do that, I don't want you to just tuck your pelvis forward like this and then hunch your posture forward. But I really want just the pelvis to be drawn down and increase that length away from the crown of the head to the tail or tailbone, right? And really, I'm really locking that in, tucking that tail down under so that I feel my core engaged, like I'm locked in and stable. Keeping that stability, what I want you to do without holding to the wall first, see if you can come high up on your toes and then go down as slow as possible. All the way up and down, slow, 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 slow. Don't get discouraged that if at first you kind of come really fast down because you lose control when you're decelerating against gravity. So I want you to make sure the tuck of the tail is there and see how many times you can do. And you're going to find that you start to engage all your lower body and your core and everything else. And so if done properly, this is going to be really, really challenging. So practice that every day because that's going to help you to stabilize your hip and really address this decompression of the low back as well. Okay, and then second, what I want you to do is turn your toes in slightly, feet shoulder width apart. Okay, and then I want you to sink your hips down, and when you look down, make sure that the knees stay behind your toes. Notice my lumbar curvature here, right? So in this position, all I want you to do is tilt your pelvis down and up. You're going to exhale down and inhale up. Something happens, there's going to be a lot of torsion inside your hip complex and stretching of your low back and really activation of your core and a lot of activity in your hip complex here. And so you're going to feel like everything sort of locks in, but important thing to remember is to keep your pelvis or core muscles nice and tight. So as they tighten and draw the pelvis forward or tuck the tailbone, in, the low back is lengthening and stretching safely, and looking down, making sure that the knees stay behind your toes, and even get in the habit of lifting your toes up too. And this is going to really help to build your stability in the lumbopelvic complex. So as you exhale, for those of you who have pelvic floor issues, really tighten and do a Kegel up. This is really intense for my whole legs, and you're going to notice that it gets really, really sore, and that's a good thing. Okay, so this next one is a proper way to do a proper sit-up, but it's going to involve your whole posture, your whole body. So what I want you to do is think about your tailbone, and as you lay it down, I want you to really lengthen that tailbone away, almost like press the curve of your back down onto the surface of the floor, right? And then extend your legs, heels pressed down, toes up, okay? And then I want you to press down so that you open your collarbones and press through the length of your arm down towards wherever you're laying down. You're going to go ahead and chin tuck, keeping that nice length and hollowing of your abs, right? You're going to go ahead and exhale up and inhale down. Gaze down at your belly button as you come up and back down. Inhale and exhale as you come. Key thing is to make sure when you're up that you're not ballooning up in your abs, that you're really hollowing your abs. Exhale and inhale and exhale. It helps if you have low back issues to really tuck the chin towards your clavicle or your collarbone to make sure you keep your neck nice and supported. And if that's too hard for you, feel free to support your neck and do this, because it's all about the core. Making sure that, again, you're not bunching up and you're not putting air into your core, but like really hollowing out your back or your tummy to make sure you're engaging all the muscles. Important thing to remember is, one, you should really feel it, and then two is that your rib cages kind of contract down, and the points of your rib cage down gets closer with the top of your pelvis, and everything sort of flattens. So do that about 20 times. And then as my toes are up towards my shins, right, active quads and my thighs, my whole body was working. So I really actually feel sore in the front of the shin. You'd be surprised how intense that is. But the key thing is to do it correctly, okay? Next thing is a piriformis stretch. Right after that, I want you to go ahead and bend both knees and bring right ankle on top of the left knee. And then you're going to lift your left knee up, thread the needle through your legs with both arms, and then pull the left knee towards you. Important thing is to keep the toes up toward your shin on both the right foot as well as the left foot. And then if you have good length here, you can start to press the right knee away with your right elbow. And just breathe here. It's a sustained stretch, so I want you to hold that for about 30 seconds. Breathing deep in and exhale. Making sure again that the tailbone is kind of pulling away from the crown of the head. Flattening that low back curve that that everyone pretty much has. Really flattening that curve down onto the mat or the floor will ensure that you're stretching and decompressing, which is the whole point to this exercise, while really feeling a deep stretch in the cheek on the right side. So we're going to switch. Bring your left foot down and switch sides. So left ankle on top of the right knee. And then you're going to slowly start to lift your right leg up, thread the needle through your arms, through your thighs, and then pull the knees towards you. Remember not to overpress and then kind of create this asymmetry in your body. A lot of people do that just to kind of overpress. It's not the point. I want you to stay nice and centered and then pull the knees up exactly, respecting your anatomy to make sure that you keep your nice even symmetry between the left and the right side. Again, lowering the low back curvature down onto the mat and pulling the knee up and holding it, deep breath in and out. And typically, don't worry if one side of the hip is a lot tighter than the other, because this is typically true. So again, I'm pulling my toes up toward my shin, both feet, and then I'm pushing my left knee away from me with my left elbow and just taking a deep breath in and exhaling, enjoying that stretch. I want you to repeat that 3 times on each side. This next exercise is a nice little stretch. I find that a lot of people have QL or the side of your trunk muscles are really, really tight. It really adds to the complexity of your hips. And a lot of people complain about the low back, and when really, once you stretch this muscle in the way that I'm going to show you, it feels so much better. So it's important to keep in mind and pay attention to every little thing that I say, okay? So first, you're going to sit nice and tall. Keep your attention on your sit bones and make sure that they're bearing even amount of weight, left and the right side. Don't be to one side, okay? That's not what we want. So bring your left heel into your crotch as much as possible. Extend the right knee up, keeping the toes up toward the ceiling, bringing the toes up toward my shin. Keep it honest and sit there nice and tall. And if you're good here, then you're going to go ahead and stretch or twist to the left side, not leaning to one side, but being nice and straight, spine right over the pelvic bone or the pelvis. Stretch. And then after that, you're good here. You're going to start to lift your left arm up, bend your right elbow, and start to open up on this left side. Key thing is to make sure that the sit bone of the left pelvic bone stays nice and down, rooted onto the mat, wherever you are. And then don't collapse all the way and overstretch, but really be lifting and turn your body over toward the ceiling, opening up nice and gently. You should be feeling a nice deep stretch on the left side of the body. Because I have more range, I'm going to keep going and really reach my left arm all the way up. And really, by this point, I really feel a nice tug on the left side of my low back, as well as the side. And it's that muscle, you're like, oh my gosh, that muscle needed that stretch for so long. Feels so good. But the key thing is to make sure that the left cheek doesn't lift up with you. So stay honest with your body and really scan your body to make sure you're doing it correctly. After that, 30 seconds again, you're going to come all the way back and then switch and do the exact same thing on the opposite side. So I'm going to straighten the left leg out, keeping the toes pointed up toward the ceiling, bringing my right heel to my crotch, and sit up nice and tall and get a nice firm base, even amount of weight between my sit bones. And then I'm going to twist away and turn toward my right. And then I'm going to slowly start to bend my left elbow, reach the right arm up, really extend away from my left hip bone here. And really, this side is tighter for me. So I'm really struggling to reach up and opening up my chest up toward the ceiling. Breathe. Some of you, if you're really, really tight, you're not going to be able to go down at all onto your elbows. That's fine. Stay nice and tall. Lift and stretch, and you should be able to get this nice stretch in a proper way that you need. Lift up and breathe. And important thing again is to remember that the right sit bone stays rooted onto whatever surface you're sitting on. Lift and breathe and come back. If you do that every day and pay real close attention to how you're carrying your weight, and always watch for the symmetry between the left and the right side, you'll be in good shape.